Who News? New animations and colorizations? Hello, we've had some news coming through from the Daily Mirror, who have a 100% track record, at least when it comes to animations news, not necessarily new series stuff, but certainly their animations news, as far as I know, never been wrong. Well, according to them, a new source of funding has been found for the animations, and we're getting two brand new ones this year in the form of The Smugglers and The Underwater Menace. The Smugglers is the penultimate first Doctor story, of course, a 4-episode historical which is completely missing, and is the first story of season 4. The Underwater Menace is the third Patrick Troughton story, another season 4 story that's 50% missing, because we've got episodes 2 and 3, with episode 2 being found back in 2011. This is very interesting. It doesn't say where the funding comes from. It just says it's not Disney. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not Bad Wolf, but who knows? It will be interesting to see whether we're going to get better animation, or whether it's just more of the same, whether they'll persist doing them in colour, and perhaps most interesting, whether they'll persist with this rather silly thing they've been doing in recent years of animating episodes that still exist, so that the whole thing is animated. I've never really understood that, and I particularly don't like it when it's been done with recent animations where they haven't even bothered to match the animation to the look and the sets of the characters of the actual live action story, which basically makes it really jarring and difficult to watch the live action episode as part of the full story, which to me was kind of the point. But both of those things were down to BBC America's demands. If they're not doing the funding anymore, then maybe we'll put an end to that. So that's very exciting. Again, it's only not necessarily quote unquote official, but as far as I know, the Daily Mirror have never been wrong when it comes to animation news. So, I mean, they broke the fact that BBC America were pulling funding well in advance of everybody else, and they pretty much got all the previous animations announced right as well. So, Galaxy 4 and all that sort of thing. The other bit of information in that article, though, was potentially even more interesting, is that it basically said that the BBC are colorizing some black and white 60s Doctor Who episodes for broadcast. Now, it speculates that one of them could be an unearthly child, which is a reasonable speculation given it is the very first and it's the 60th. But that's a really interesting. I mean, everyone's jumping to, Blu-ray releases of fully colorized stories. It doesn't say that. It says some Hartnell and Troughton episodes for broadcast. Now, whether that will, ultimately lead to Blu-ray releases of fully colorized stories, who knows? But I think that's a really exciting idea. I did kind of suspect this might be on the way, because we got news last year that they're colorizing two 60s episodes of a British sitcom called Hancock's Half Hour. They're colorizing them with this new, I think it's AI-driven colorization technique. And I mean, when the moment that came to mind, I thought, they're gonna do, if it works, they're gonna do that on Doctor Who, aren't they? Quite obviously. I mean, I think the first animation they did was Dad's Army, and then the next was an episode of Dad's Army, and then the next thing you know, they're announcing Power of the Daleks being animated back in 2016. So it did seem likely to me. So I know some fans are going, oh, they were made in black and white, they should stay in black. It's like, come on, they were made in black and white because that's all they had available, dude. It wasn't an artistic choice. That was all they had. I think it gets harder and harder to watch black and white as the years go by, especially for modern audiences. And I really do think that it would benefit 60s Who enormously. I'd be very keen to see some, particularly Hartnell. I think Hartnell could benefit enormously from colorizations. And while the quality of the ones that you see on YouTube vary enormously from really surprisingly cool to embarrassing, this is basically new technology as far as I know. I think that's an exciting prospect, and I would well be up for buying 60s Who in colour. Yes, please. Shut up and take my money. Anyway, as I said, this is all Daily Mirror. It's not confirmed, but then the BBC never confirm anything until like the night before they're ready to do it, do they? So it's interesting news, and let's hope it's true.